Hello everyone. This is a new segment I think I'm gonna do. I figured I'd introduce it since this is the first one. Me as a metalhead, I found that after, starting to listen to like literal hundreds of bands, it kind of became really difficult to keep track of all of them, when they put out albums, when they're gonna tour. There's been multiple times where I find an album from a band that I like and it's been released recently, like months ago, but I didn't know until then. And I kind of wished that there was just like a little like site or like video service like this that would just inform you on all the things going on, just like once a week or once a month maybe. That might be too spread out, but so I figured I could try to do that. I always thought that was a cool service to maybe provide, and since I always kind of wanted it, figured maybe you guys wanted it. So here that is. This is me doing that. Segment 1. For release announcements, I'm not aware of too much, but there are still some. Godflesh announces their new album, Decay, releasing on September 25th, with their first single, Living/Ending, already being released. So if you want to hear a new album from the industrial metal gods, Godflesh, yeah, there you go. They announced that they would stop doing live performances a while ago, but that doesn't mean that they're done with music altogether. And then underground death metal band Azathoth announced their debut album, Carnal Lust of Blasphemy, releasing on August 21. So if you want to check out some underground death metal, check these guys out. They got a new album coming up pretty soon. Next, for tour announcements, we got a couple, some pretty cool ones as well. I Hate God has announced a fall tour with Blast, Luicidal, and Evil Army. I'll definitely try to go to this. I love some I Hate God, and Evil Army is really badass. Yeah, it's taking place in the fall, I believe October, November. So yeah, check that out. Exhumed has announced a fall tour with Jarhead Fertilizer, Savage Master, and Molder. This is also really cool. I'll probably also be checking this out. Exhumed is awesome. Jarhead Fertilizer I've heard good things about. Same with Savage Master, and Molder is great. I've seen them live. Heard all 3 of their albums. They're an awesome band. So yeah, if you're into something like that, check that out. Death metal, some heavy metal, grindcore, yeah, stuff like that. Since we just mentioned them, I'll just get this one out of the way, even though this one was announced like a couple days later. Jarhead Fertilizer has announced a show in Miami with Devil's Your Master, Implosive Disgorgence, Human Fluid Rot, and Undercrypt. So if you want to see them again and you're in Miami, well, there you go. The doom metal band Motherless has been added as a supporting act for Profanatica on their current tour for the dates within August 19th to the 22nd. This is coming after them announcing that they had to cancel some of their own shows, so it's cool that they got to make up to open up for a really solid United States black metal band. And this one's not metal, but metal adjacent since they are signed to Relapse, but the death rock band Poison Ruin has announced a November European tour. So, yep. If you like those guys, check them out. For festival announcements, we have quite a bit with a lot of the big festivals having wrapped up. They're making a lot of announcements, and we got quite a bit to go over. Death Ceremony has announced that Asphyx and Enthroned have been added to this year's lineup. And this is a metal festival taking place in Poland on Halloween this year, 2026. Dates and the first wave of bands for Brutal Assault 2027 have been announced. The festival will be taking place August 4th through 7th, and some of the bands are Merciful Fate, Children of Autumn, Sisters of Mercy, Benediction, Carcass, Dismember, Emperor, Kanonenfieber, Magua, Towards the Sinister, and tons more. This is a festival that takes place in Czech Republic. Very big, like 4 to 5 days. They usually get like over 150 bands, like easily probably the biggest in the world, so worth checking out. The Covenant Festival announces that a couple bands have been added to this year's festival, such as Abysmal, Zalal, and Bashasketh. Yeah, this is a festival that takes place in Canada from September 24th, 26th this year, so next month. Coming up, Subterranean Manifestation announces all of their bands for the 2027 and 5th iteration of the festival. The bands are Horna, Ancient Rites, Dietis, Dicasterion, Sulfuric Deity, and Verletzen. This is a festival that takes place in the United Kingdom, and it takes place one day, April 24th, next year, 2027. Reload Festival has announced the first wave of bands for the 2027 iteration of the festival. Bands include Electric Callboy, Heaven Shall Burn, Children of Bodom, Canon and Fever, TPS, Ginger, Skindred, Hammerfall, Beast in Black, Igor, Clawfinger, Hypocrisy, and about like 15 more. This is a very big festival that takes place in Germany. Next year it'll be on August 12th to the 14th of 2027, obviously. Berlin Desecration Fest has announced 3 more bands for their 2027 lineup. These bands are Century from Texas, and this is actually their first European show, which is really cool. They've been around for quite a bit. Epicardectomy and Erectomy. This is their first show outside of the UK, which is pretty cool. And tickets are already 50% sold out, so if you want to go, I'd recommend checking it out soon. This takes place in Germany, May 27th to 29th of next year, 2027. Asakusa Deathfest announces more bands for this year's lineup. The bands added are Necrophile, Abigail, Deserology, Shinda, Saibo, No Katamari, and YXAXD. So some pretty cool ones. This is a Japanese festival that is taking place November 19th to the 23rd this year. Summer Breeze Open Air announces over 60 bands for their upcoming 2027 festival. Yep, quite a bit. This is an open air festival, so it is a very large one. Some of those bands include Electric Callboy, Ed Guy, Saltatio Mortis, Children of Bodom, Hammerfall, Hailstorm, Windrose, Lord of the Lost, Elevati, Cataclysm, Dark Funeral, and obviously a ton more. And this is a German metal festival that takes place August 19th to the 21st of next year, 2027. Carmoigeddon has announced that Children of Bodom as are one of their next year's headliners. This is a Norwegian metal festival that's taking place April 29th to May 1st, 2027. Hell's Heroes tickets are currently over halfway sold out without any bands officially announced. This isn't huge news, obviously, but I just thought I'd include it because it is pretty crazy that they have already sold out over half of their tickets without not even a single band from the lineup being announced yet. So if you are looking to go to Hell's Heroes, which is taking place in Texas in the US, March 18th to the 20th of 2027, I would buy your ticket soon. Black Knight Sorceries Festival has announced a couple more bands for next year's lineup, including Archgo, Aklis, and Dim Aura. This is a Czech metal festival that is taking place March 19th to the 20th of 2027. Heathen Strike Over Brno has announced headliners for next year's festival. Those bands are Nargoroth, Urgahal, Imperium, and Eichwar. This is another Czech metal festival that is taking place February 19th to 20th of 2027. The Metal and Beer Fest for Denver announces Kailesa will be performing for this year's iteration of the festival, and this is taking place in Colorado, obviously, from December 4th to 5th of 2026. Metal Lacquer announces the final band for this year's lineup, that being Fearless 5. I'm assuming that's how you say that. This is another German metal festival that is taking place August 28th to 29th of this year, so that is coming up. That is only in about 2 weeks. Froth and Fury tickets have officially gone on sale. This is an Australian metal festival taking place January 30th of next year. Defenders of Steel tickets will officially go on sale September 1st, so mark your calendars for that if you are interested in that. This is an Austrian metal festival that is taking place May 7th to 8th of 2027. And the early bird tickets for the Under the Black Sun 2027 have officially gone on sale. This is a German metal festival that is taking place July 1st through the 3rd, next year, obviously. And then this is the one bit of bad news we have for festivals. Soldiers of Steel has announced that Sacred Blade has to cancel their appearance due to visa issues, which is fortunately quite common nowadays. But Heir Apparent has stepped in to fill in their place, which is pretty cool because they had to cancel last year. This is a metal festival taking place in Seattle in the US, August 13th to 16th of this year, so that is like today as I'm recording this. But that is it for festival announcements, which, yeah, we obviously had quite a bit. But yeah, if you're a big Children of Bodom fan, Canon and Fever fan, Mgwa fan, I know Deathclack's been announced for a good amount of them, and you're in Europe, you're going to have a good time next year because they have been announced for a ton, especially Children of Bodom. Everyone wants to get them. For the lineup changes, we do have one announcement. Joel Dominguez has officially parted ways with the California heavy metal band Haunt, and Philly Bibiano has been announced as his official replacement. This is just where a bunch of stuff that is hard to categorize will fall under. We have two things for this. The underground record label Iron Corpse announces that they will completely cease the release of all new music. This is also coming a couple days after them having to announce that they are no longer able to ship to any EU countries due to new packaging waste regulations that was put into place. With this new announcement, they would also state that if nothing changes, they would likely completely shut down the label in the future. I do believe they said that like on-print stuff is able to be sold. Like I think like t-shirts and stuff. So if you are in the EU, you can still order that stuff. This is obviously not great news, but a metal label, underground label, financially struggling is unfortunately not any new news for metal, which does suck. But the final thing for today is that Psy posts a vague thing hinting at like an announcement or release coming out January 10th of next year. What it is, who knows? They didn't really say anything. It's very vague. So I guess we'll have to see. But yeah, that's all the news I have for this time. I'm sure as I do this more, I will be able to get more and more news, you know, as I expand my sources and get better at finding stuff. The way I'm doing it is I'm going to be like looking for news Friday to Thursday and then recording the Thursday and then uploading Friday. So yeah, there might be some days where I can't. I will try as hard as I can to get all the news to you guys as possible. Yeah, let me know if there's any way you want me to change how I deliver information, say things. Like, I want this to not really be like an artistic expression or whatever you want to say, or for like my other videos. I want this to just kind of be just like me delivering information as concisely and as easy to understand as possible. So if there's anything you want me to change, let me know. Yep, that was number one. First time this is happening. Probably not going to number all of them, just saying number one because it's the first one. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'll be here again next week, and I'll probably have some more other videos alongside this. So subscribe if you want more metal news.